You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABBO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. So welcome to another Workshop Wednesday, all about casual conversations for serious workflows, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, which is all about learning QuickBooks your way. All right, so pretend like nothing happened. So today we're going to be talking about the inventory updates that have occurred in the last couple months inside of QuickBooks Online. And oh my goodness, I changed the question of the day.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about something else, but maybe I got my wires crossed, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I always love to talk about inventory.
Yeah, we had a week off, right? Because last week I was away, so we maybe played a little bit of change with the with the topics. But today is about QuickBooks inventory and program updates. So we want to talk a little bit about some of those changes that were announced in some of the in the know webinars, and talk about some of the things that frankly I've just been waiting for, and I'm still waiting for most of my clients, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
If you are using inventory to track inventory inside of QuickBooks Online, just go ahead and put something in the chat or the comments. Now, how do you feel about inventory tracking in QuickBooks Online in general? Because inventory is your bag, right?
Yes, and actually this is a really opportune time to say this because we just got an inquiry from a new inventory-based business, and the first thing I always ask is how many SKUs are we talking about? And SKUs is just items, but this new potential customer has 8, and so my answer is fantastic, and he's just buying and reselling stuff, so no manufacturing of anything. And so wanted to know, is this something that we could do inside of QuickBooks Online? And I said yes, absolutely. So you can, or to answer the question is, I actually don't have a problem managing inventory in QuickBooks Online as long as it checks the box for all the requirements. So I know we've talked about this before, but I personally don't like it when there's way too many items, even if they're buying and reselling things, which has to be the situation. They can't be manufacturing anything. So even if they are just buying and reselling stuff, if we're talking thousands and thousands of items, it's not my favorite thing to do. For me, it's usually if they don't have an obscene amount of items and they're really only selling on...
is obscene.
And these people are only selling on one sales channel. So for me, that's an ideal situation. I don't mind doing it in QuickBooks Online. And as a matter of fact, I think that in some situations, I like it in QuickBooks Online because then I'm not dealing with the integration of so many different things and things syncing between all the places. Even though I like all those things and I like a good challenge, oftentimes if it checks the boxes of can I do this in QuickBooks Online, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were talking about it a little bit yesterday on the Power Hour, that the advantage of just having things all in one place is you're going to get more out of QuickBooks the more natively you can use the functions. Challenges.
Yeah, and sometimes more complex inventory sellers, the reporting isn't suitable for them, and that's fine. If we're talking about maybe a smaller business, or even if it's a larger business and they're really only dealing with one or two things, and they can maybe export the data and create fancy reports maybe out of that, then it can be just fine.
Yeah, it's actually, excuse me. Yeah. Went into my teenage years there. And that's typically what happens a lot of times, is that you can track inventory inside of QuickBooks Online, and it's like, oh, I got all the things that I need. Not so fast. And we talked about this many times, that QuickBooks Online's inventory management is really focused on the buyer and seller of the same goods, right? You're not needing to track the comings and goings and actually where the physical location of all of your inventory all in the same breath. It's really just, I buy stuff and I sell stuff. And I don't do anything to that stuff in between the time that I buy and I sell.
Correct. Yeah.
Put it on the shelf and sell it later.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So one of the things that has been lost in that shuffle, right, is this idea of product variances, right? When you have an item, simple, common example of that would be clothing or apparel, right? You sell the same item, it just comes in different colors or sizes or something, right? Shapes and those types.
Yep.
So QuickBooks doesn't account for that, other than the fact that you have the ability to create more items, and then you end up keeping that SKU. But in your experience, what's the normal practice? Is there typically a unique SKU for different items with different variances?
Yeah. So I call it a variant, but so let's say you have a t-shirt, okay? So you have the standard t-shirt, that would really be the parent. And then let's say that t-shirt comes in pink, yellow, and green, okay? But it also comes in small, medium, and large. So let's say a small pink is a variant, right? A medium pink is a variant, and then a large pink is a variant. Same with small blue, medium blue, large blue. So the one item has 9 variants, let's say, right? Yeah. So I would consider the 9 variants the children and the t-shirt the parent. But in your system, and it really depends on the system, and so this is why I'm curious to know if QBO has this, that your system really, it doesn't even we're not even really tracking the parent. It's the variants that are the ones that have quantities, right? So each of those should have a unique individual SKU. You should never have anything that has the same SKU, especially if you're dealing with pushing those quantities to a POS system or a Shopify store or something like that. Everything should have its own individual SKU. And in that situation, you almost throw out the parent. Now, internally, I always usually will have a parent for tracking. Like, parent is cool squiggle t-shirt is like the parent, and then it comes in all the variants. But it's really the variants that matter.
Yeah. So as far as QuickBooks is concerned, up until the introduction of this product variant, you end up having to create individual items.
Yeah. So the individual, all of the variants would just simply be a list of 9 things.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the way that you would manage that is you would just put in the description what the actual color and size. So like pink small would show it in the description. Having a product variances or a style grid, so to speak, of this is the item, and then these are all of the items that are part of that style of items, and then the individual product variances has really been a challenge. And really, you just end up putting in finding workarounds.
Yeah. And really, like, in QuickBooks Online, let's say you can just only have 9 items listed. That's it. Mm-hmm. For picking an item and putting it on an invoice, they're all considered just an item. But the reason that you want to have these variants tied to a parent is because, let's say, in a POS system that you have a customer looking at, or a Shopify store that a customer is looking at, the effect that it ultimately yields is that if I'm looking at a t-shirt on a website, I can go, oh, look, there's that squiggle t-shirt. Oh, I see it comes in these 3 colors. And ooh, I see it comes in small, medium, and large. And those simply become just the types of t-shirt that I can order. But underneath, it's got its own SKU. And so what we're looking at as inventory accountants, if we're looking at the item level, we're looking at these each individual items. But really, variants are when you're looking at something customer facing, they're just looking at the parent, and they can see that the offerings are just the different colors. They don't really understand that's simply a variant of the parent.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that have been promised that are coming, and I was actually reviewing the In the Know webinar that Intuit put out, and where they were talking about product variances, and this was back in 2023 when they were talking about it, and they said everybody should have it by September of 2024. Here we are in September of 2025, and not everybody has it.
I guess my question would be, why does Intuit want to build that if do they ultimately want the ability to, on an invoice, pull up basically a parent and then have the different options under that one item? Is that really the intention? Because it's really the way you build it is right. Because the way you want to see it a certain way.
Yeah. So here is what we see today for most of our clients when we go to products and services. You don't see anything about any kind of item variance or anything.
No, they're all just individual standalone items.
Individual standalone items, that sort of thing. So the caveat to all of this, right, is you have to, where these things are coming from, or where these changes are coming from, Intuit's acquisition of Gecko back in 2000. So that kind of all came into QuickBooks, or is coming into QuickBooks through the Commerce tab, which I don't even know where it is now.
Yeah, I can't even see it on mine.
But I have this client here is using the Commerce channel, and now the products and service screen looks way different.
Oh.
So we have this, there's the intrigued Rachel's voice. Look at this. So we had, instead of those things at the top, now we have just messages here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back and show a few things, but now under this new drop down, you have options with adding new items, right? So new inventory, new non-inventory, new bundle, and then batch import, and this option to import from your sales channel, right? So you have to have a connection to Shopify, eBay, or Amazon in order to have this function to begin with. So
do you need to be using the app?
Yeah.
The app connection thing in the bank feeds?
Yes. That ultimately comes that way when you connect the Commerce sales channel.
Oh, okay.
And so that will come in here. Oops, I want to go back into
or app transactions, I should say.
Yeah. So if I go in here, where are they hiding it now?
I think it's
sales
in,
and No, I wanted to show now sales orders
Uh-huh.
is something that becomes a thing.
Yeah, that's a new thing now.
When you are connecting your Shopify sales channel or some of the other online sales channels like eBay and Amazon, right? So I can see the Shopify connection. I can see the sales order as they're coming in, and I can see the details, right? And if I wanted to, I could import those Shopify items into my QuickBooks.
That's a very cool thing.
Yeah. And then that will allow you to create those transactions. Now, what I don't know, right, because this is all relatively new and we're not actually importing. This is a bad example for this particular client because we're using another connector
Yeah.
in order to bring in the transactions, but I have it connected just in case, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like a backup. If something should fail, it's like Miss America, right? The runner-up.
Yeah. Now, that is really cool that it does that. Now, I have heard some chatter about that connection though not being the best, but being able
just
to,
like everything else with QuickBooks, it's
yeah.
not always
Now, as somebody that's
some, not for all.
yeah, as somebody that's imported items into many different systems over and over and over and over in duplication, this is a very good thing. But I guess my question is, okay, you can bring items in, but let's say Shopify. You've connected it that way, and you've brought them in as sales orders, not invoices. So they're still in a sales order state before they've been invoiced, which is great because it's the logical first step that it should be, and QBO didn't have that before, which is very nice. But does it pull in the quantity of how many is on hand in QuickBooks to the sales platform?
No.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, normally it's as far as the communication from the sales platform to QuickBooks, it's really just one way. It's coming from
it's Shopify to QBO.
It's Shopify to QBO as far as getting data and getting it into, which is really what most people want, right? It's the shallow end of the pool. And ultimately, this could potentially, tomorrow I may have a different answer because maybe eventually it gets to the point of being able to do omni selling, right? So when you have Shopify and Amazon connected separately, you may want Shopify to know when you sell something on Amazon.
Yeah, that's why we use inventory apps. Yeah. And for that sole reason is so we're using one hub. And that way we know when we're selling on several channels. We know when we sell one here, it makes the availability for these other two places one less, right?
Yeah. The problem with all of that is you have to have whatever the place that is your source of truth needs to be the source of truth.
Yeah.
And it needs to do all of the things, not just track the comings and goings of your products and services.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And the ones that I use do that. Right. They do all those things, but it's still a thing that you got to learn how to use it and you got to know how to do it. So the fact that they're slowly putting these all in here is good. I'm sure at a certain point, I'm sure their goal is to have it operate multi-channel, syncing back and forth QBO to whatever channels and QBO to that and that to QBO. I'm sure that's their end goal.
Yes. Likely.
And bringing in cost of goods sold. Yeah, that's very important.
Yes. Now now speaking of cost of goods sold, one of the new updates is the ability to change your costing method. I'm wondering if I can't even get to preferences, and probably not a great idea to do this Oh, let's see here. We go over sales quickly. Do we have the option on we do. Yeah, we have this option here. Track inventory for sales channels, right? So we have the ability to do that.
Wow.
It doesn't say anything as to what that means.
Yeah.
Right? Or if that actually does that. But
well, you know what? Maybe it means I've allocated X amount for this sales channel and this amount for that sale. I don't know.
It's funny because all of these other things are links except for that one, but it gives you the impression that it actually is a link.
Oh.
So like this.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to know what that thing is.
Yeah,
because
I can't click on it. I can turn it on, but I don't want to.
Because if it's not going QBO to sales channel, then what does it really mean?
Yeah, this is an entry point, and who knows what it actually does. But there is actually another. I've seen the screenshots, but of course I'm not seeing it here. But you have the ability to change the calculation method of QuickBooks, because in the past it was, if you're tracking inventory, you're first in, first out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way to do that. Now there is an option to be able to choose between weighted average or first in, first out, because especially if you're coming from desktop, where that is the option, unless you're using enterprise advanced inventory, weighted average in your cost calculation, you might want to mirror that, because if you change from weighted average to first in, first out, you got to tell the IRS about that. There's another forms and all that stuff to calculate those differences. So you are able to change that. That's the promise, that you'll be able to do that.
Well,
but obviously,
and then not to mention that FIFO isn't always appropriate for every business. So to be able to have an option is nice.
I'm wondering, maybe it's under advanced. Just double check. I don't see anything here. So that's something that's new. So the sales orders is something that is newish.
Yeah.
and then the variances. So now let me get into where we can actually see it, because now it's decided to error out. So if I go into the batch import, so now I'm going to have this screen, which is not something.
Do they give you a template that you could use? Oh, there you go.
They do. Import. You can import from CSV or Excel. And then here it's really just, you can essentially batch import. So you have these options here of products and services, products with or without variances, right? So if I choose without variances, it looks just, these are the columns that you have in here. When I choose with a variant, I get a couple extra columns of single, parent, or variant.
Oh, that's really interesting, because and maybe you know what I'm talking about. So when you, like, we're working on this conversion from desktop to online, and in desktop, the products, when you export them, have this parent : child. And so you actually have to split that column, because, do you know what I'm talking about? Because it's not apples to apples. So maybe I'm not describing this right, but I find that sometimes, like, the way that, let's say you have let's say you've exported all of your products from QuickBooks Desktop, the format isn't always the format that you need to import into QuickBooks Online. So if there's ever a situation like what we just did, and that we're not importing all the items in because we didn't want them as inventory items, and you're exporting them and importing them into a different way, the format isn't always the same. And so you have to reformat the parent and child into just the child.
So when you have items with variance, you're either going to choose a single, which is there is no variant, and you can see by choosing single, all of these this variant table that got added here is grayed out, right? So cannot do anything with option name, option value, and it looks like it gives you five options. So you have lots of things that you can. So you can do color, you can do size, for one particular item you can have multiple variances. So it could be size, color. I'm trying to think of some of the other things. Fabric. You could feasibly have different fabrics.
Oh yeah. But what's the header? Is it option one name? So like, does it allow you to put a header in like color, size, so it knows what you're talking about?
Yeah. So when I choose parent, the only thing I can change in here is the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I cannot put a value. You see the hovers over, it gives me the not going to be able to do that, but I can put in a name. So this could be size. This one, go away. Could be color, and then option 3 could be material, things like that. So you have up to 5 variances that you can define. Of course, I didn't spell color.
Well, that's cool that it allows you to do that. I'm just always like curious. Is it really like a way of like, does it appear as items and sub items then when you're looking at your item list?
Yeah, let me see. I'm just going to buy and sell this, and this is going to be a t-shirt, right? Style 1, right? If we want, we can put it in a category, but we're not going to. This is
Oh, you froze. Dan froze again.
A t-shirt.
Oh, you froze, Dan.
I did? Oh, great.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay, you're back now.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. And then the price. Nope, you can't even, on a parent, you can't put in the price or the rate. So.
Oh, see, that goes along with what I was saying.
Yeah.
It's really, when you're using parents and children or parent and variance, the parent becomes just an internal thing.
Yep.
A way of organizing. It's right. Really, the variants are the ones that become the sellable item. So that makes sense that it would be like this.
Yep. So then we're going to do our next item.
Gosh darn it, this is really cool.
Over here. And then this is gray t-shirt. Gray small t-shirt. If I can spell now. All the pressure's on. And of course you don't need to do this in this grid fashion, but we are going to. Yeah,
I would if I had 10 to 20 or something. If I had more, I'd probably use that export template.
Yeah. Size. And then this is, what did I say? Small. Some gray small.
Gray.
So there's my size, gray.
But when you're dealing with variants, make sure you spell the gray the same way in all the different places.
So it's small, and then color.
Otherwise, you'll screw yourself up.
And then this is gray. All right, we don't need that. We're not doing that. So now sales description is grayed out. I can't change the sales description, but I can, and I can't choose the income account. So here's
because it probably is just pulling from the parent.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things you set up at the parent level.
Yeah.
And then the variants are literally just the different color and the sizes.
All right. So
they probably do that so you're not accidentally putting in different costs.
So let's just say our cost is here, and I'll just say we have one on hand just to see. And as of date, my birthday, reorder point, and we need an inventory account, which is over here. Now I can't see because I've zoomed in so much. So now what happened? Oh, I scroll down. I'm like, where'd it go? So now if I hit save, let's see what happens. We're uploading a lot of data, all 2 items.
You could with your gray t-shirt, you could have the gray sweatpants with it and have a grout fit. That's what my daughter calls it.
A grout fit?
A grout fit is a gray outfit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Looks like, let's see, it's no more refreshing. It says you can continue working in QuickBooks or upload more new data, and the new batch will let you know when the data is saved. So I'm curious if I just pop over here and close out of here and go back into the item list. I'm thinking about it. Come on now. There we go. Gray. Nothing.
Oh, that's weird.
It's not in here yet. Let's see here. Just curious. Apparently this takes a while. And not something you want to do on a live webinar. We'll put that in the comments once we get an idea as to what actually occurred here. But this does allow you to be able to do this thing and choose to be able to create items with variances.
Yeah.
So there is a relationship with that. Now, folks over at PBM, the Pro Bookkeepers Network, they have a question of thoughts on how Intuit Enterprise Suite is working with inventory. Seems like all the same rules, apps, workflows would apply for Intuit Enterprise Suite and QBO because they are based on the same software. Yes, that is correct. There's nothing in Intuit Enterprise Suite that will be different than what you do today in your QuickBooks Online, right? You would still need to connect a commerce channel in order to see these functions inside of QuickBooks Online, Plus, Advanced, or Intuit Enterprise Suite, whichever the case may be. I don't think you're going to see that for some time.
How do people connect to the commerce channel?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, in this
I know that's changed throughout time.
Yeah, where do you get sales? Okay, it's under sales and get paid, and sales channels is where you would go. And this is the same. No, we're not getting feedback just yet. This is the same screen that you would see in the old interface where you would go to commerce on the left side.
Okay.
And then this is where you would connect a new sales channel.
Got it.
Do we have any new ones? Oh, we do. We have Etsy.
Yeah. You know what? Now in mine, which is, I still have the old setup, but it's QBOA. The commerce is actually in the left-hand navigation.
Yeah. So you can connect now 4 sales channels, and then if you don't see it, then you can request.
That's pretty cool. Oh. But again, if somebody's going to be doing that right now, they really crystal clear have to understand this is not updating quantities, and they still have to go in and manage all that in these sales channels, because there's a lot of confusion. People think that when this gets connected, it'll do that, and it won't.
Okay. Yep. And then a couple other things that we want to talk about with regards to inventory, and I have a QR code there in the upper right, all about our advanced inventory section. We have a blog about what you can do inside of QuickBooks Online. We have an inventory course where it all breaks down the difference the main concepts of tracking inventory and how can you track and manage inventory inside of QuickBooks Online when you need these other functions of multiple sites and those types of things. But in June, they talked about a couple options that have to deal with inventory in the know, and one is called an inventory add-on, right? Basic gist is with the different flavors and versions of QuickBooks Online, you've got Plus and Advanced and Essentials and Simple Start, right? Plus is the lowest version that includes inventory tracking. So the thought was, hey, what about the people in Simple Start that need to track inventory but don't need all the other things that are in Plus? So with this, now you Simple Start and Essentials customers, they can add on inventory tracking in Simple Start and Essentials.
That's pretty cool.
For a small fee
Oh.
of $40 a month. So let's just break down that pricing, shall we, Rachel?
They might as well just go to Plus.
Exactly. If they're on Essentials and they need inventory tracking, Essentials is now $75 a month. So adding $40 is $115, which is exactly the price of Plus. The way they position it here is that QuickBooks will now get the enhanced flexibility to manage more than their operations without needing to upgrade their subscriptions that include features they don't need.
Like class tracking and location tracking, I would just upgrade to Plus and get all that.
Exactly. So if they are on Essentials and they need this, just upgrade them to Plus. Don't add the inventory because you're going to get budgets. You're going to get class and location tracking and 2 more users to be able to work with.
I know. And you know what this does? Oh, yeah, they get more chart of accounts. This does, it adds more confusion.
Yeah. Now,
thanks, Intuit.
I think the advantage, though, is that if they're on Simple Start and they just need inventory, then
it's not a big bonus for Essentials people. It is for Simple Start.
Right. So if you're on Simple Start because you have 1 user and you need the inventory management component, yes. That brings you up to $75 a month because Simple Start, it's now $38 for Simple Start monthly. So that brings you up to $78 for Simple Start with the inventory add-on.
Yeah. Man, they've raised the prices very rapidly, I've noticed.
Yeah. But if you need product tracking, again, you probably have other workflows that might be necessary, because project tracking, right? That's a plus feature. You won't get any of that if you just add on the inventory add-on.
Yeah.
Also with that, they are sunsetting or discontinuing the shipping label feature. So
already?
Wait, before you get so excited. So this is again only affecting online Simple Start and Essentials people.
Oh, okay.
So if they needed the shipping label printer out of online Essentials or Simple Start, they needed to opt into that. So now it's included. This is what they're saying, is that if you, alongside the introduction of the inventory add-on, which is up above, the shipping feature will no longer be available in QuickBooks Solopreneur, Simple Start, or Essentials as of August 25th. You can still use it. It's just it's part of the it's part of the inventory add-on.
Okay.
So if they needed the shipping manager or the shipping label feature in those products, Solopreneur, Essentials, and Simple Start, then they would just opt for either upgrading to Plus or adding the inventory add-on so that they can do that as well.
Yeah.
You're not shipping you wouldn't need the shipping manager if you're not shipping something. So I guess it does make sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Intuit. But it's not they're discontinuing the entire shipping label feature.
Okay.
It's just for those particular product SKUs, those variances of of QuickBooks. So that's those things. So that's one of the things that we want to make sure of. We want to talk about variances. We want to talk about the sales order options. All of those are newish enhancements to things that deal with managing inventory. But like we said, we are in the kiddie pool when we talk about inventory management in QuickBooks Online. This is just is when you're taking one more step towards the deep end, and you're not necessarily all the way into the 10-foot pool.
Yeah, but a lot of these things can be really helpful because a lot of times I deal with a little bit more complex, but sometimes they don't need that complexity. And sometimes it's nice to be able to see, oh yeah, QuickBooks has this one feature now. Oh, that's cool. I can just do it all there.
Yeah. And again, you have that flexibility and more deeper integration because you have it all in one place, and you're not surprised with maybe a limitation in an integration when you're using a third-party app.
Yeah, and also like when you're using a third-party app, and what I really liked was the importing from the sales channel, the items, because I'm telling you, I was joking about them making sure you spell the gray right. That is a big deal. It has to be exact. So if you're importing in the name, the SKU, anything that it needs to understand to connect, if that's not right, if there's an extra space or a dash, you're going to get an error. So I really love the idea of importing the product details from something that already exists.
Yeah.
And because then you have less potential for user error.
Yeah. I had one Shopify seller that habitually created new items in Shopify.
Yes. That is an excellent point you bring up, because
anytime that
because a lot of times you want them to use a master list, right? Make sure you put your items here and then it can go in all the places. Inevitably, they never do that. And it's usually some other person adding things in Shopify, not understanding that we need those items. You can't just put it there without updating it here. Yeah,
especially when QuickBooks is the source of truth for inventory.
Yes.
You need to make sure that's still the case.
Yep.
So appreciate you joining us. Sorry again about the technical issues that we were having, frozen things and all that sort of stuff, but we'll get our act together eventually, I think, at some point. So we appreciate you joining us this week, and we'll see you next time on the Workshop Wednesday. Have a great day, everybody. And that wraps up another insightful episode of Workshop Wednesday, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and took away some valuable tips and strategies to enhance your bookkeeping practice. Remember, if you want to stay ahead in the world of bookkeeping and accounting, be sure to visit Schoolofbookkeeping.com. With a wide range of courses, resources, and expert guidance, you'll find everything you need to sharpen your skills and boost your career. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content every week. If you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover, reach out to us on social media or send us an email at support@schoolofbookkeeping.com. We love hearing from our listeners and are always looking for new ideas to explore. Thanks for tuning in to Workshop Wednesday. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep excelling in your bookkeeping journey. I'm Dan DeLong, and we'll see you next week.